Hi, this is Zach here with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Monday, the 3rd of June. Starting with the FTSE 100, which has made good on that trend line break, 82.40. We actually hit 83.71 as a peak, but we've come back a bit, which is slightly disturbing. As long as we're above or remain above 82.40, we feel that we could head up and retest 84.74, the best levels of the record level last month, and maybe head towards that by the end of this month. Bigger picture is up to 86.60 or 86.50 by the end of next month, maybe coinciding with a new government. We obviously don't know which one it'll be yet. Moving on to the DAX, and here you can see that the picture is quite positive. We managed to rebound above a rising 50-day line, above the floor of that rising trend channel from back in October. Looking for record highs there through 18,900 and maybe up to as high as 19,500 by the end of this month. The DAX moves rather faster than the FTSE normally, so that is what we're looking for. We also had an extended RSI 50, neutral 50 rebound, so that gives the market a bit more gas in the tank than one would normally have. Moving on to the Dow, and here bounced sharply against what is now hopefully the real floor of that rising trend channel from back in the autumn, 38,000. I want to see an end of the day close through the 50-day line, 38,900, to give us a third test of the 40,000 area. After that, looking for as high as 41,700 by the end of next month. Anything missing, maybe apart from the 50-day line being reclaimed, is the RSI being back above neutral 50 versus 45 at the moment. Moving on to Bitcoin, and here you can see they're starting to curl up nicely, as is the 50-day line. 65,000 is our sort of line in the sand, and while we're above that, looking for record highs towards 74,000. Big picture target here up to as high as 87,000 by the end of next month, which is the top of that rising trend channel from back in November. Obviously, the easiest thing at the moment is just to focus on the 74,000 area and the March peak. RSI also looking good in the sense we've had at least a double rebound off the neutral 50 level or just below it, and that tends to be a leading indicator on the upside. Next up is gold, which has had a little bit of a setback, a double top there, a bit like the DAX through 24.50, hoping that we'll find support at or above the 50-day moving average, now at 23.35. Below that, then, the risk is 22.80, which is the floor of that rising trend channel from back in December. The negative here is the way, well, apart from the fact that we failed at 23.80, 90 is the way that we are now back, or we have been back about below the RSI 50 level for a couple of sessions. But the big picture target here, if you're a fan of gold, is still up to the top of that channel, 25.65. Hopefully by the end of next month or even sooner. Moving on to the stocks, and starting off with Barron Oil, which a nice kick to the upside today. We've been bouncing off or ricocheting off a rising 50-day line, which tends to be a leading indicator on the upside. Multiple bounces off that uptrend line in the RSI window from February, which is a long-dated one, so that's also good. Just waiting really for a break of the 200-day line at 0.075, and ultimately looking for 0.13 as soon as the end of next month, which is the top of that rising trend channel base, which has been in place for much of the last year. At this stage, only well below 0.06, really delaying the upside scenario. RSI pushing through neutral 50 as well, which is a positive. Moving on to Beacon, which has not been great. We covered it yesterday, hoping that the shares would remain within their rising trend channel base. As you can see, they didn't. And in fact, they've done a Premier African in the sense that they've just gapped down below the floor of the gap. If you want to see what that looks like on Premier African, there it is, almost the same sort of picture there. So sort of sucking you into the idea of thinking that a base has been made and then gapping down, and the gap down shows that people are wrong-footed there. Current situation there now, obviously looking rather bleak on Beacon. And as you can see, there's no real place for the shares in terms of support at all on that situation. Moving on to a stock which I also covered over the weekend, which is Cirata. Here we've hit our initial target there, around 83 pence, and now we're looking for, as we were suggesting before, progress within a rising trend channel from back in April at £1.10, £1.11. That might happen as soon as the end of this month, the way things are going. So maybe we can upgrade that time frame a little bit there. Upside value while we're above the latest gap there at 70 pence. Moving on to Emmerson, where we're hoping that the Moroccans will do their stuff and give the big green light, or whatever the light looks like. Here we've got a rising trend channel base. Hopefully we push back above the 200-day line, the black line there, 2 pence, and the longer we stay above that, at least we're looking for another run up to 2.6 pence. April resistance for the shares in the first half of this month. Anything missing there, I suppose, apart from end of day close above the 200-day line, is for the RSI to get back above neutral 50 versus 46 at the moment. Haven't covered Firering for a long time. I don't think anybody else has either, but here it does look like we've got a rising trend channel base back above the 50-day line, a bear trap rebound from below the March support there at 3.1 pence. The longer we can stay above the 50-day line at 3.25, the greater the chance of a move to retest January resistance at 4.8 pence, and maybe even up to 5.25 pence at the top of that channel by the end of next month. Long uptrend line in the RSI window as well, helping the cause. I suppose the only thing we are looking for, actually we've already got it, is the rising 50-day line. Had a hammer candle on Friday as well, which was good for the cause and still is. On to Genflow, where the grants keep coming in and the share price gapped up the week before last. Looks as though we are in a little bull flag here, heading for our next target there, 3.9 pence, and hopefully after that we just revisit 1 year resistance, or at least April 2023 resistance at 5.5 pence by the end of next month. Not looking for the shares to be anywhere lower now than the 2.6 pence area, maybe even 2.8. On to the Aquis market, where I obviously like looking at this particular market, given that nobody else does really. Here you can see that Incanthera has given us a positive fundamental sign, which is rising after a placing. The placing at 15 pence, I think it was £4.1 million. So well done there, especially on Aquis. Initial target here, nearly, just under 25 pence at the top of that rising trend channel from December. Ultimately, we're looking for 32 pence by the end of next month, and ideally we stay above. Obviously that 15 pence area, might even get away with staying above that March peak at 17 pence, given this positive reaction today. Mosman is next, and here, if I can type it out correctly, you can see that we've had a decent, we did have a decent gap higher. Still looking for that 0.035 area, hopefully by the end of this month, and ideally we stay above the 0.02 area in the meantime. But the key here is, I suppose, the way that the shares have found support above both the 50 and 200-day lines, just below 0.02 pence, and we've had a bounce off RSI 50 as well. So hopefully today's little pullback off the initial high will not last too long. Petro is next, and here you can see that little bull flag developing at and around the old resistance, March-April resistance around 4.3 pence. The longer we can stay above recent support at 4.1 pence, the greater the chance of a fresh leg to the upside as high as 6.8 pence. And we're looking for that by the end of next month. If you look closely, you can see that both the 50 and 200-day lines are rising now, so that suggests that we're going into a golden cross, and that tends to be the strongest part of the cycle. On to a stock which normally likes to keep a low profile, but here I am shining a light on it. Narf Industries, rising trend channel there. The main plus points here were the two gaps to the upside, one in February through the 50-day line. We had one of those at the start of the rally in Powerhouse Energy, and then another gap higher soon after at the beginning of March. Current view is that above the floor, the rising trend channel and the 50-day moving average at 1.2 pence. We're looking for 1.9 pence as soon as the end of next month. On to Ondine, which has given a little push to the upside today. Here we're finding decent support at and around the 50-day line, 7.25 pence. Above that, looking for the shares to hit the top of that broadening triangle, the red line there, 11.3 pence by the end of next month, or even sooner. There is a line of resistance around 8.3 pence, but consolidation at the moment, which is effectively an inverted head and shoulders, should take the shares higher. especially after that bounce of RSI 50 as well. Moving on to another situation which has many fans and is finally delivering the goods. Here we had Prospex gapping up on Friday, and we know we like our gaps higher because it tends to show that the market's been caught short, which hopefully in this situation has been painfully caught short. Here we've also got, apart from the gap, we've got the rising 50 and 200-day lines, which suggests we're about a week or two away from a golden cross, and the run-up to a golden cross tends to be the strongest part in the cycle. Initial target here around 8 pence. Above that, we're looking for 10 pence, hopefully by the end of this month or even sooner than that. Ideally, we stay on the right side of the floor of the gap there at just under 7 pence. On to one of the dishes of the day, Power Metal Resources, and here I covered the shares yesterday looking for what seemed to be a rather ambitious 27, 28 pence target. We're already getting there though, but we hit our previous target there at 17.5 pence, and above that on an end of day close basis looking for 27, 28 by the end of this month. The other plus point, which if you're eagle-eyed you will notice, is that we are just about delivering an unfilled gap, a golden cross between the 50 and 200-day moving averages. We had the unfilled gap to the upside just at the end of last month, but a gap fill rebound came in after that. But here the golden cross hopefully helping Power Metal to the upper 20s over coming weeks. On to Sareum, which has behaved itself in the recent past. Here we've hit our first big target there, around 45 pence. Above that on an end-of-day close basis, looking up to 90 pence by the end of next month. It looks like a decent turnaround here. And the rising 50-day line hopefully helping the shares. The only block in the near term probably the 200-day line at 51 pence, which we haven't been above since back in July. So hopefully that will change early in June. Finishing off with another Aquas situation, and here very good looking one as well. TruSpine Technologies gapping up last week or just before last week, and here you can see that the shares making a beeline towards that target there from the November 2022 resistance line projection, 4.1 pence, which we're looking for perhaps as soon as the end of this month, given the gap higher and the way that I suppose we've had. That was a golden cross in theory. I think if you look closely, it looks like a golden cross. But those very strong candles of late, opening at the low, closing at the high on multiple occasions, suggests that a decent re-rate is on the way at TruSpine. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.